I'm with Eldorado. We installed your wall here. We've been in climbing business for over 30 years now, doing all types of different projects around the country. We build walls panelized like this out of wood, and we do specialized concrete work also. We have been supplying local gyms and schools with operations like this for as long as we've been around. I had two other guys who came out here with me, and we were able to install this wall over the last week. It's a panelized climbing wall. The history of climbing in the United States is a little bit convoluted, but on inside climbing, we have been installing walls, and it is a process of taking what outdoor climbing skills people want to gain and bringing them inside so that they can get stronger. Originally, climbing inside was actually for practicing for outside climbing. So that's why you'll see the likeness of holds on the walls and things like that. This wall specifically is a top rope wall. Top rope climbing is where the rope is above and a belayer is down below, and they will be supporting that person climbing the wall. Lead climbing, which this wall does not supply to them, is where the climber would be bringing the rope up with them on the wall. We did not supply that for this wall, so there are no quick draws and things like that on it. If you were to climb without ropes, without protection on that side, you usually would have a pad underneath you. This wall over here on our side here is what we call our traverse wall. It is a smaller bouldering wall where there will be a pad underneath for falling on. I think that that mostly covers what you guys need to know for that one. This is the, they have me say like to ascend is to go up the wall and to descend is to go down the wall. You can have your climbers go up and down the wall. These are just things that are about climbing in general. Our wall right here has 5 belay lanes where you can have your students climb. They're set up there. I have pre-cut ropes for you guys in position. You can see them hung right there. Those lines are supported with this rope right here. This is a 10.1 dynamic climbing rope. We'll keep them nice and safe and catch them softly as opposed to having a jarring attack on their line. We did not do any floor anchors for you guys into your ground because it is a gym floor, and that was not specified for this system or anything like that. And we do operate where we will put a crack in the wall sometimes for people, and this is not something that we provided for on this wall, but sometimes we will put a crack in the wall for someone to jam their hand in and climb up similarly on that side. Our particular wall was fastened to your concrete wall with wooden ledgers that are put in with tack-ons into the CMU wall and then glued there. Each one of those panels is fastened to the ledger in the 4 corners with 2.5-inch GRKSS RSS screws. They're easy to take off and resupply. If you were to be doing that often, I would upsize the fasteners at that point, but we would be the one talking about warranty on that side. Making sure I'm hitting all of my pieces. Like I said, the rope. We are supplying you guys with harnesses, helmets, some non-auto-locking belay devices, and my list has some quick draws on here, but we do not have, because we did not do auto blaze, they are non-applicable for this wall because the wall will be attached up there, or the rope will be attached up there. That rope is wrapped around one time on the belay so that it will give a little bit of friction when your belayer is lowering. And I will tell you that you want to leave it like that whenever you rehang the bars, because then it will keep the rope from dropping. If someone were to let go of the rope while they're like your climber, it can make the rope other side fall down. So keeping that wrap allows that kind of situation. We offered you handholds. I think there are 360 handholds that you have ordered with bolts. I have most of them up right now, not quite all of them are up on the wall yet, but they will be by the end of today or tomorrow morning for you guys. On the side of equipment, let's now talk a little bit about your equipment so we understand our harnesses and helmets and stuff. These are the 2 harnesses that we have provided you guys. This one is the Energy Junior This one is the Topaz. They have different attachment points. This one right here is called a belay loop, right here, and this one is just a solid, a hard point anchoring system. If you're going to be clipping metal hard point clips through this, for this Energy Junior, you will clip it through this belay loop. If for some reason these loops come undone at this bar tack, that harness is no longer safe and you don't want them to somehow clip through that, that should not happen. I have owned many harnesses, this has never happened. If you're clipping carabiners, do not clip the carabiner through these two. This is where a rope would be tied. You would clip that through there. I'm reiterating so you understand. On this one, on the Topaz, everything goes right through here. And I would recommend only doing a carabiner for this type of. You can tie a rope, but it's a little more abrasive on this point right here.
And we only do beaner. We only do
exactly.
carabiners.
So
we don't do rope ties.
Here and here on that side. For you guys to understand, I did some math for you on the side. I'm gonna check my notes here. So the Energy Junior is 18.9 inch waist to 23.6 inch. That's pretty small. 23.6 is pretty. So that's gonna be your smaller students who will fit inside this unit. The Topaz is 20.5 inches to 37.4 inches wide. I don't know how large your largest students are, but as we consider how that is, you want to make sure that this is going to fit them and not be fully maxed open, because it will not be super comfortable if you do that.
So you're talking 37 inch like waist?
Waist, exactly. Let's see here, yeah. And then so they sell a Topaz Plus, which is a larger unit. The Topaz Plus goes from 26 inches to 43.3. So when we are talking about, like, if you guys want some larger harnesses, that would probably be a good recommendation on that side. And it will have this same connection point that I think you guys like. So
do the smaller harnesses come with that connection point as well?
This particular unit, I am not privy to every single harness that Camp does sell. We can look into that and see if that's a kind of connection point that you would like to have. But it is a strange thing where, like, if you see right here on this image, it doesn't even have that same attachment point on it. So it's like one of those things that we might have to get going to do that. These harnesses are self-locking. They're auto-locking harnesses. You will notice that you may be used to backing up your harnesses. The new style tech is this tube metal buckle system, and you want to make sure that it is properly through. You can see that it goes through both, and then under, and then out one on this side. These things are actually demonstrated in your info packets that are on each harness. I took one of them off, but I left all the rest remaining. If you would like this literature, it will have a lot of things that are useful for you. These are very nice, very reliable. This information has actually been patented when it originally came out, but is now available to the entire climbing community. Your kids will like using this when they put that on their harnesses.
Can you do an up close and personal demonstration? Just loop it, just in case anything happens. How to loop it?
Sure, yeah, we can do that here right now.
Is there a weight limit on any of these? Just
on the specific harnesses?
Yeah.
Yes, usually all harnesses have about a 300 to 500 pound rating. These specific, I don't think I get a weight rating on my paperwork here. Here we go. So I will look into that one and verify your weight limits for your harnesses. I guarantee that they're well in excess of anyone who's going to be wearing them. These type of, like if you were to work with this basic type of webbing, this is multiple 1,000-pound webbing. Usually could pick up like a car with it. I'm not going to give you a specific number because I don't know what we're dealing with right here, but I wouldn't be terribly worried on that side. For putting the band through, usually it would go, if you were going to replace it, you'd fold this up, pull that out. So from start to finish, goes through 2, and then back through 1, like this. And that is self-auto-locking. That is the same on the leg straps and on the waist strap for you on that side, on the harnesses. We have supplied you guys with 6 helmets. 6 is what I was given for my letter of acceptance right now. On my paperwork, I have 6 currently. We can talk about more at that time, so that you can have enough for having everyone on each lane. Excellent, yes. What I was told in my paperwork is that there would be 6, and I do have all 6 of those here.
Okay.
So that is, at least we have what we're on my paperwork on that. These are chin strapped helmets that they clip together with this plastic clip. Very easy on that side, so you can strap them up like this, and this guy is kind of nice. I like these camp ones because it's got a little chin strap thing to keep them comfortable.
Do they have the adjustable on the inside to adjust?
On the inside
so that
right
it
here,
fits
they've
at
got
all?
little set fitter. This will, right here, this
Yep.
piece of plastic can slide, kind of goes like this, and you push it forward, you can hear it clicking. That'll be the top around the head. And then the depth setting is this little plastic guy right here. Usually don't need to mess too much with the depth setting.
Yeah, we don't.
Mostly just the width of that helmet. Should be pretty comfortable for them.
Okay.
Nobody likes wearing helmets, but we try to make them as comfortable as we can in climbing. Very light. We have supplied you with 6 locking carabiners and non-auto locking belay devices. I'm not sure what kind of belay devices you were using in the past. This is a standard ATC style locking or non-auto locking belay device. You would bring the rope through. I am not technically allowed to give you belay instructions. If you would like to seek out better belay instruction of any kind, we can do that. What I will show you specifically though, real quick, is how to tie a figure 8 knot, at least for that safety side, because it's very easy to understand, and we'll make sure that that's understood. And I will show you how the rope goes through this device. Not how to operate it, but at least how it is used and maintained. So for using the device, you would push the rope, a loop of it, through the device, and then the carabiner is clipped through that loop and through the wire on this. And then this is a locking system like that. If that makes any sense for everyone, that's awesome. Coolio. When tying a figure 8, can be demonstrated many different ways. I like the rabbit goes around the tree and goes back through the hole method. That's what I learned when I was a kid. What I usually like to tell people is take an arm length. I do like a bend here. Put a twist in the rope. You will see that it starts to look like a figure 8. Now the one thing about this is if you come through that same side that you came through here, is that it will create an overhand knot. This is, if you see a knot that looks like this is not for a figure 8. And that would be the first thing you want to know if you see someone tying a knot like this. What you want to do is you will take the loop, you will make your twist, and then you'll come in from that opposite side here. It should make a figure 8 looking knot on that side. And you would take that through the carabiner, would clip right through there. Say that's on their harness already if they're tying the knot. I think you guys will already have this already done for them.
We're gonna do a double figure 8 with a backup.
Okay, yeah, well,
That's the-
figure 8s are always double. So right now, see, I have made my figure 8. I will always come back and follow through that knot. So usually if someone's tying through their harness, they would have to make this knot and then tie this, take it through their harness, and then follow it right back like this. And then retrace that figure 8 so that it looks nice and pretty. Now, dressing your knots is fairly important in climbing so that they look really nice. And when I say dressing, that means that the rope always is tightened a little bit when you have made your knot. And you can see here, like how this knot is over. If I dress the knot, I actually push that over and it makes it look a little more pretty. And you can see how it sits all nice. 2, 2, 2. That's always what, as we check our knot, always like this. You want your length of your tail. This is new information for you guys. This is cool stuff. This length needs to be 10 times the width of the rope. Usually about a finger, or like 10 fingers. Minimum. Can be longer if you're gonna do a backup knot on this. You're gonna do a double fisherman backup on that guy. You might need a little longer than 10 times the width of the rope. If you're tying it on a bite, just for y'all so you can see it in the demonstration, if you're tying it on a bite, which would be taking a bite of loop, this is a loop right here, a bite of rope, you can tie a figure 8 fairly easily by just tying it itself like this, and then clipping that. See how I dress it, same way. And then I can clip it right through there, and now we're in, right?
Yeah, I like that.
That's how you all, the gym teachers will tie the knot, right? Because that's how it's gonna go through. Now, the one thing that I looked through some paperwork and I would like to address right now with you guys is that I saw, I think Colin showed me some paperwork that said that you would have some steel locking carabiners for each one of the lanes. If you are attaching to hard points on the harness, I would recommend, this is an aluminum, non-auto locking carabiner. This is good for belay devices because it'll stay on your harness. This piece right here
Those are the
keeps
ones
it
that
on
we use.
on the harness. Yes, were these the ones that you were attaching to the children too?
Yeah,
Like
so
this?
we go down and then screw down so you don't screw up. So we have them
Cool.
lock and then back it
Yes.
off halfway. So, and the kids have that and the person belay. So the climber and belay are
Okay,
both
so
have that.
we're gonna need devices, I think, for 5 of those for the climber side. I think I only have here enough for the belay side.
Okay.
So we will re-verify that and make sure that you have. Now for my paperwork, my letter of acceptance, I actually only have 6 locking carabiners and 6 belay devices, which is why I don't have 10 necessarily, so that you can attach to the kid side. So
Okay.
we will need some carabiners for them on that side, if that makes any sense on here. Good, where's my paperwork right here? There you go, awesome. Belay devices, helmets, awesome, good. Okay, so the flooring that we're offering you guys here is a type of vinyl 4-inch thick mat. It is these pads that I have stacked right here. That flooring is fairly robust. It stays pretty clean, but if you do need to clean it, it is easy enough to wipe it down with a damp rag, and it'll keep its longevity. If you get a hole or puncture in it more than like a thumbnail size or some kind, may need to be patched, and that would be covered under warranty, and we can talk about that more at that later date. One of the questions I very much have for you guys on the gym side is you had said something about wanting the pads to be up off the ground when the janitor comes in to clean up, or whoever your cleaning person is. Because of the layout of your wall, you'll see on that left side how there's a space there. It is going to be difficult for me to set the pads up to where one person would be able to pull them off the ground and hang them up, per se. My recommendation, my Pam and I talked, and we recommend potentially not anchoring them and having that person slide them out of the way when they mop the floor and then slide them back. Let's walk over and take a look at this so you can understand what I'm saying on that side. Here's your padding on the floor right here for the Eldorado wall section. If one person were to have to try to get this off the ground, you would have to somehow lift these up, either as one system or individually hang them up one at a time. And most of the time for our systems, this would be sitting still on the ground. And then there are some black holds that I have, I will show you in a second, where they can hang up. It does not seem like it would be a very proficient way for if one person was coming in here to clean it, to have to hang them all up, especially because these pads right here, there's going to be one right here that's not in front of any climbing wall, and even this one, which is like half in front of a climbing wall. I have enough pads to lay out and cover this whole area safely for you, but I just do not recommend attaching them to this wall due to the sake for cleaning and things like that. I want to verify, how are you going to be cleaning the floor, and where do you put these pads in that case?
Depending on the floor type,
Right? Yep. And it is you're a gym, like a wooden gym floor underneath here, correct? Yeah.
Yep.
So if you wanted to mop all the way up next to it, I definitely recommend having your guy just come in and either, this system by itself is all Velcroed. It would be fairly easy to just slide it out of the way quickly, like this, away from the wall, mop, let it dry, and then slide it back. If you intend on leaving that down, do you intend on moving this padding a lot, or is it going to stay in place for the most part?
Yeah.
When you're not using a climbing wall,
It's going up.
It's going to go up? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So in that case, if we want it to be easily moved for cleaning, but most of the time it'll just lean up, I can install black holds on the wall. There's these little clippable spaces where you'll be able to lean it up against the wall, and they'll clip onto that, and that'll keep the pads from like falling over. I will do that, but I will not attach to the CMU block so that you can get them out of here. Excellent. That is one of the very most important things for us to figure out today. Awesome. No problem. As for the climbing wall itself, maintaining, cleaning, and working on the wall, our wall is covered with a type of epoxy paint, which is very, very robust, and it has a sand aggregate texture in it. That sand aggregate texture makes cleaning the wall very difficult. In its current state right now, you would not want to try to spray the wall off potentially and clean it. The best time to clean the wall is when you would be taking these handholds off, and I would recommend power washing or using some type of dishwasher to clean the holds from their grime. This is very easy to do when it is time to take them off the wall. And at that point, if for some reason you would like to clean the wall, you may do that. My heavy recommendation is to not worry about the cleanliness of the wall, even on the construction crew side here as we turn over, because I'm not gonna do it, but if I put my foot right here and I gave you a good old scratch, that's not coming off for a long, long time. And the shoes the kids will wear will potentially be a little bit dirty. And you can repaint, usually is what climbing gyms end up doing. Years down the line, they're like, okay, we don't like how dirty this has become. They repaint the wall. You can give it a little wipe down here and there. Sometimes like like some of these spots will clean up even just with my finger currently. But the state of the wall will change so fast on that side. But due to the fact that the holds are so easy to take off, you guys can stay right there. Here is one of our holds. This is the climbing holds. They're a polyurethane plastic, very, very strong. Actually very different potentially than some of the holds you had on the wall before, which were resin pours. These wood should be able to be dropped and they shouldn't chip or anything like that. We usually use, in the climbing gym world, a power washer. You would just have someone, or like power wash the hold off, or like a dishwasher or a light soak of some kind, scrub them off a little bit. It does not need to be done very, very often. They are attached on the wall with this socket-headed 3/8 drive bolt right here. They go through the holds. You want this bolt to stick out roughly 1 inch to 1.5 inches. I recommend on the higher side. You'll notice I put my thumb there. My recommendation is about that first digit of your thumb. They are attached on the wall with a T-nut structure, right, like this. They go in the wall here, and then they're tightened with either a T-handle drive or a drill. I'm gonna grab your guys' T-handle here. These are your Allen keys. This is a 5/16 drive. This is a 7/32 drive. There are 2 different types of bolts that are attaching on your wall. There are the standard socket head caps, and then there are some Martini bolts. Let's see if we've got one. I thought I had one close here for you. I got mine. There's one in there, but don't worry about it. There will be the smaller bolts. It'll be very easy to tell. These are your larger size bolts. If one of the holds spins due to a temperature change in the building, this does happen sometimes, you can tighten that up. I recommend not tightening them as hard as you can. We usually talk about 20 square foot pounds, which is, I know is like a random number, but you would put it on nice and snug there. You'll usually hear it kind of suction on the wall and be nice and tight for you there. And it'll be super safe, not really come off. And like I said, if they do spin, it does happen. And especially as the wall is brand new right now, the wood will kind of flex a little bit and the holds may want to spin. I have, in certain holds, you'll see this large hold right there. There's this tall looking pinch red hold. If a hold has a high tendency to spin, we will sometimes put a set screw in that hold. I will have placed those, so hopefully any of your high contributing spinning holds will not have that issue whatsoever. This right here is called a tap. This is for cleaning out the T-nuts that are in the wall. Every once in a while, the threads in those T-nuts get damaged due to an improperly placed bolt, scarring on the threads, corrosion, other types of issues. When you're route sanding or if your crew needs to clean out the T-nut, This goes inside the T-nut, it is turned, it cleans the threads and re-taps them out. It's done a little bit like this. Very easy, it should self-align with those threads and run through, and you'll notice right now the threads are clean, so this is very easy for me to do. This is included with what I will be giving you guys, a patch kit that has all the things you need for fixing those type of things. If this T-nut is unsalvageable, you will need to replace it by taking off the panel and putting a T-nut in the back side. They are placed with two screws, two black screws, and a metal feet. They look a little bit something like this. They push into the back of that hole, and they're screwed in with a Phillips drive, small screw like this. Very, very easy to replace if needed.
Are we gonna have those if we need them, or is that?
I have left you a small bag of them, more than enough for what for a
Right.
long time, hopefully, yes. The major issue with this is if an installer of the holds does not properly install the holds, and the bolt will cross thread in the T-nut, it sometimes cannot be saved. And I recommend being smart and safe and careful whenever putting holds on in that case. Awesome. So cool. If you happen to see any cracks in the wall that are larger than a couple inches, this would be something we would need to address on our side. Please keep us informed on that. Any small little scrapes and things like that, you can repaint. I will be leaving you with enough paint, and we'll go over the instructions on how to do that here in just a moment. In general, you want to, on a regular basis, you want to be checking the wall and maintenance-wise to see that the panels are sitting nice and flush, that there are no major cracks, T-nuts aren't having any issues on that side, stuff like that. Okay, and let's see. Yep, and I like that. Our disclaimer is that every climbing wall is different, so they all will change and move differently and things like that. This wall really shouldn't see any cracks forming. Would be one of my thoughts on this wall with any of these type of slab panel walls. Your biggest concerns are just going to be that the wall will become a little damaged from foot traffic in the bottom section here, where lots of feet are going to be touching the wall and things like that. Awesome. We went through the attachment of the holds and things like that. Good. Yeah, I like they tell me, right, like I think about this when I was telling you about tightening those holds on the wall. Try not to over tighten them, because what will happen is that T-nut will actually suck into the back of that wood, and when you try to replace it, it won't want to, it's not as good for the wood like that. So recommendation is 12 to 15 square foot-pounds of torque safely. A little more than that's okay, but you will feel it if you are tightening those holds and you start to, it'll kind of crunch and you'll feel that T-nut sucking back into the wall. As for your guys' routes, I have set 5 different lanes. The routes can be designated by color if you like, or climb all as one. That is up to your students and how you guys want to demonstrate that for them. My grades on the problems, I kept everything very easy. You had said at 5'11" or below. I've kind of stayed well within that for the safety of them. If at the time they're not hard enough, maybe because you have students who are stronger, I recommend resetting and setting to the level that they're at currently. As for now, I tried to give you guys the best option for just having them get up that wall. I know we had talked about some type of bell or some type of thing up at the top. There's plenty of room for you to add that up there, but it is not something that I do for you guys. Yes.
We can add it.
Yeah. In general, climbing is dangerous, and I want you to just stay very informed on that side. On this fact that I didn't give you guys a full belay lesson. Really, if you feel uncomfortable with your belaying, and especially in a school environment, please seek out further instruction on that side, if it is something at all. And we really want to always be checking those kids and making sure that they're safe on the wall like that. Now, Oh, waivers. I'm not sure how you guys do your waivers with students and things like that. That's not my side, so let's not worry about that. Awesome. Now, the one thing I wanted to go over before and I finish here is that as you guys maintain it and pay attention to the wall, I want you to check the ropes regularly for wear and tear. I have right here. Who are the gym teachers? I want to show you guys. Right here, I have some paperwork. This is your owner's manual. On the owner's manual side, it has everything that I've covered in here and more. It designates everything from the fact that we've given you a wall that is a 20 foot, 1 foot, 5 inches, or 21 and a half feet tall and 31 and a half feet wide. Then we have the 5 lanes. All of those systems in our bouldering wall, which is 7 feet in height and 17 and a half inches. It goes over your warranty systems, so that if you have any questions about how our warranty is going to work, we have a 1 year following the acceptance, where any type of those issues, those micro cracking, things like that, are covered under ours. So really keep your eyes open for that first year. I recommend especially checking and making sure that the belay bars are on tight. Have not loosened themselves for some bizarre reason. I have tightened them to spec, so you guys know that they are attached in the CMU block with an epoxy type of anchor. The epoxy type of anchors are an expanding type of glue that goes behind the wall. Always, I would say on at least a monthly basis, put your eyes on those things and make sure that there is no issues whatsoever. That's where their lives are at stake, and we want to be really safe on that side. It is very, very important. I do not want that to be the reason why we have any issues long term. For pictures for inspection, this is a nice one to see. Right here we have a chart with kind of some abrasion wear on the ropes. If you see any wear in the sheath that is actually a core, what would be called a core shot, where the sheath is actually damaged to the point where you can see the inside of the rope, replace that rope. And in a school environment, replace that rope probably before that if you see any wear points that are heavy. This will usually happen first actually on the belay side where the belayer is because of the friction going through the belay device. So I would watch those ropes like that. And I would also regularly untie that figure 8 knot that is on that side where the climbers go so that you don't have cinching happen. Knots break, or ropes break at the knot. This is where it happens, almost always, unless you have a core shot. So you do want to untie that. This is a very safe thing. If you see, like when you pinch it, you might see like, this is a cool picture right here where the sheath kind of gets pinched. If you pinch it and the rope does feel thinner, like some type of internal core shot has happened, replace it, right? It's pretty self-explanatory in the sense of if for some reason you're not comfortable with how that rope is handling, replace that rope. Awesome. It has a full list of your monthly, every 6 month and annually inspections. I just went over the monthly belay bar check. They like to say, we don't do auto blaze, so we don't have to worry about the return and inspection of auto blaze in this facility. But they like to say every 6 months on the T-nut side. That's more when you're route setting, when the people are moving the holds around and stuff like that. I would replace them as need be, as that happens, things like that. Awesome. All right, we're looking pretty good. I would like to take the remainder of the time real quick. Oh, there we go. Let's do this. So the paint, we have a 2-part epoxy paint that I'm leaving you lots of extra. Enough extra to paint the whole wall probably. I had a lot of extra paint and I could send it back, but I'm just going to give you guys 3 full gallons of the paint. I have written on them right over here the colors so that you can understand. Here is your light gray. Here is your orange. Here's your dark gray. The paint is a 4-to-1 mixture, so you would put 4 parts of the A and 1 part of the B. So say you were doing, I like to do mine when I do 2 ounces of B and 8 ounces of A. It kind of can be difficult to measure out small amounts. And specifically with getting that correct mixture with this particular paint, I do recommend mixing about 10 ounces. Even if you're doing a small touch-up, just because unless you have a very effective way to measure 1 and 4, that's a little bit easier sometimes. We put a sand aggregate in the paint. If you are doing micro little touch-ups of some kind, there is no need to put any sand in the paint. If you're doing larger touch-ups, if you're repainting the whole the section, we put 1/5 to 1/4 total volume of that amount in sand, and I will be leaving you a can full of sand along with this to put in there for the time at which you maybe in years decide to repaint the wall. Where would you guys like me to leave all of this extra equipment? Talk to this guy right here. Okay, awesome. We can maybe do that after if that's a better time
Once you
for
guys
you.
are done, we can get together and come grab it.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, just because I don't want to leave all of some of these things out for people to mess with and stuff like that. Cool, awesome. Are there any questions that you guys have now at this point in the demonstration?
All right,
Shoot away.
so we talked about on Thursday or Friday, going 3 different routes up each climb. Is this climb completely done?
It is not done. None of them are actually fully set at this very moment, yes.
Okay, so they will all have 3 climbs?
They will all have 3 lanes, and I would even consider it 4 because rainbowing, which would be climbing all the colors of the holds, would be one other option, which would be maybe the easiest way to just not have to think about that. So for the most part, they are easiest green, little bit harder yellow, and hardest of the red. I would grade the greens anywhere from 5.6 to maybe 5.7. The yellows 5.8 to 5.9, and the reds 5.10 to 5.11-ish. If you would like me to write that down, I can, but I know those numbers for the kids don't really, they see red, green, and yellow, right?
Yeah.
Awesome on that side, cool. You'll see I don't have this belay bar here currently installed. Like I said, those are epoxy anchors, and if that glue does not set properly, it is not comfortable for me to leave you an anchor that is not properly set, so I have reset that bolt there.
Okay.
It is drying right now, and I will reinstall that tomorrow morning. I wanted to let you guys know that because since you are here, and if you're comfortable with signing off on the wall in its current state, I can have that up and confirm with my people that it is good to go if you cannot come in tomorrow. If not, I do need somebody to come in tomorrow and sign off on my inspection and my letter of acceptance for this. I can do this orientation, but the letter of acceptance and the inspection have to at least be fully understood that once we are done there. And especially as I'm a long-term climber, I've been climbing myself for almost 20 years now, 18 years this year. I would never want to put a belay bar that I don't feel is super safe for you guys, so I'm letting that dry there for you.
Thank
I
you.
want that to be super safe. Any other questions?
The mats that are gonna hang up here, are you installing the hooks? We can just hook them right up here?
Yes, so those hooks are these black holds right here.
And they will be going up here as well?
They'll
so
go
we can-
up there, yep,
Good.
and I won't, like I said, I won't attach them to the ground, but I'll put this hold high enough to where the bottom shouldn't kick out on you,
Okay.
right? And I think that should be great for us.
Perfect.
They all
we need to
Velcro
have the
together
legal-
too, so it'll be one system that runs this length
Yep.
and one system that runs that length. And it should be, I moved that one around over there real easy, super easy to slide them on. So.
Okay.
Cool. See here as I go through everything. On my side, that is about everything that I need to show you guys. I hope they have a really good time and that they enjoy the wall. This should give them a lot more variety in their climbing and accessibility and for the systems. It's quite a few more holds on the wall, I know, than what you guys had before.
Yeah.
So, and you will be able to clean, I know you weren't able to clean the wall before probably very easily, or the holds themselves. These holds will be able to be cleaned, which is kind of nice. They get grimy, and I know we want the kids to be clean a long term on that side. The one other thing I'm seeing now that I want to verify that I told you guys in this video is that due to spec, I did move this wall a little bit to the right from the original inspection just to be safe away from that pipe. Safety-wise for your kids, I would make sure they don't grab that, but I'm pretty sure it's far away. The bouldering wall is slightly within reach of that pipe. There was no real way for us to keep them off of that. I would keep an eye out. Maybe you'll notice my boys didn't put holds up into that very top right-hand T-nut for you guys.
Yep.
And, we don't want them climbing on that pipe or anything like that. And I'll tell you from experience, when I was a youngin', if I could reach it, I'd grab it. So it's something to definitely consider. I made it so they couldn't climb on top of that left side over there was, you know, real tight. There are a few electrical outlets behind the wall that I had the electrical company close off for us. I don't see any real reason why you would ever need to actually access them or put plugs on the wall, but I will be leaving the electrical company with, and I can give photos or scan a copy of the sheet that has which panels you would need to remove to access those, if for some reason you would like to get behind them, as a disclaimer. But I would say it's not necessary, you wouldn't want to have electrical outlets on the front of the wall for them to push on with their feet and brake and stuff. So that's a solid on that side. Okay, I think I wanted to say that one that we moved the wall, but besides that, any other questions?
What's gonna happen once this is done and the floor gets sanded and stuff? Is there something to protect?
So tomorrow, Ben and I will be paid, once I have verified that the bar is up.
Yep.
We have inspected the wall and we have signed off and made sure that we are good to go 100%. I will hang plastic over the entire wall.
Cool.
I do not recommend you
sure.
have the construction company or anyone come in and clean the wall after that point. It's kind of a pain. If anything, I will wipe down some of these scuff marks that are on the wall for you. But it is really not worth your time to have a company come in here and clean this wall off. It's only going to get disgustingly dirty the very first day they climb.
Okay.
And it's just part of the process of it. So we'll take some nice pictures while she's still clean, because it'll be the last time they'll ever look like that, for sure. It's always like that in the climbing gym aspect. Awesome.
You guys did a great job.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Excellent. I'm always excited. This is kind of my favorite part. As a long-term climber, I like going over all these parts with everyone and answering any questions that you have. I think we covered everything with the harnesses and everything, and as I said with the waist limits, that would be the one thing I would talk about with my project management, is potentially getting some more adult-size harnesses for your larger kids, because like, you said that was something that you're concerned about. The carabiners on this side, let's make sure that we get those for them. And as a true recommendation on my side, it says in my paperwork, steel carabiners. As a user, steel carabiners are gonna be safer for you on that side. They are heavier and stronger. So when you talk
For the
to them,
climber?
on the climber side, yes. You do not need to, but say they were to drop that carabiner onto the ground because it's attached to the rope, steel carabiners are gonna be less likely to microfracture. And for hard pointing into a harness, steel can be a little bit better. You do not need them, like I said a moment ago, but very much talk to them about getting enough, 5 more at least, for clipping to the rope side to your harnesses, because we do not have that. And the helmets,
Yeah.
4 more of those, correct? And then I don't know exactly how many harnesses you're gonna need. I would recommend more than you think, because you don't know the waist of every student who's gonna come in here. And if you have some adults belaying, and then you need more adult size harnesses, so shoot over when you talk to them, and they'll deal with you on that side and make sure that you're good to go and everything.
Okay.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Right on. No problem, yeah. Right, yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm jealous, that's for sure, yeah.
Epoxy paint just with the paintbrush, right? All good with the paintbrush? Or
Oh, yes, so put that, thank you, that's a good question. I will leave you a couple of paintbrushes and a small roller to roll on the paint when it's here. I'll even leave a little cup and some things for touch up and stuff like that. It can go on with either the roller or the brush. If it's a larger area, I recommend doing it on with a little roller. You cannot spray it on if for some reason your guy wants to spray it on. With the sand aggregate in it, it cannot be sprayed. Excellent, thank you, Colin. That was very good. So
are you
that's
gonna
good.
be leaving some extra pieces of the handholds and whatnot, or not?
So when I talk to my guy over here, I will most likely have some extra handholds, and when I communicate with him about the extra things that I'll be leaving you, those will all be on that. I will most likely put as many of those holds on the wall as I possibly can, because I like them to have lots of options. I tend to get all the holds I need up, and then I add as many bolts as I literally have here on site. I will just keep adding holds until we have that, so they have as much density. But you will have some extra ones. If for some reason one of your holds breaks, the foot holds tend to snap every once in a while, replace that hold, throw it away. It's not worth your time to deal with any type of broken hold like that. You shouldn't have any issues with any broken holds because you don't have a lot of UV coming in here, and as long as you don't over tighten those things, they'll last 20 years. Some of those things are like that. But I will make sure that all of those are put away somewhere safe, and all of the extra, the paint kit, your extra harnesses, the extra rope, if we have any extra rope or anything like that, they'll all be put together, and I'll put together a list for you so you know what I've left you, just for you guys, so that
Okay,
it's
thank
easy
you.
enough. Excellent.
Contact info is already in the packet, right?
Contact info for everything will be in the packet, and is on all of our other paperwork too. If you have any questions, easy enough to find a number to contact Eldorado Climbing on that side. Awesome.
Do you guys have any kind of PM contracts? I know you're from Colorado, but
I'd have to talk to somebody in my company to find that out specifically. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah. I don't. I think right now the only contract that I know we're technically maybe in is we're building for the Boys and Girls Club. We're doing a big thing with through an organization for them, but that's the only contract maybe that we're under right now. We tend to do a lot of private residences, universities, and some climbing gyms. So it's all over. We're all over the place on the walls that we build. Everything from the rich guy's house, and he wants a wall in his backyard or in his house, to what you guys have here on your wall.
so I think of like yearly inspections that we will need to have on these walls for the town.
Yes, so that'll be personally done, and then we will also send somebody out. Exactly, yeah, I would talk to my project manager about exactly the dates that you will do that, but I know that as something that Eldo does. I don't know our time frame on that, but because you're school, I would solidify how often you want somebody to come out and look at that. Once a year is probably a decent amount of time, especially for a school, on that side, definitely.
Great, thank you.
No problem, and I will be doing an inspection. Are you gonna be here tomorrow to meet off with me? So tomorrow you and I will I have my full install inspection sheet. We'll go through this, and I'll go through it very specifically what I'm inspecting and why I've checked it off. And like we have to wait because of that belay bar, or else we would be doing that right here, right now. And at that point, because you'll be in tomorrow, is it all right if he signs the letter of acceptance and I do handoff with him on that side?
Yeah, we'll do it all tomorrow.
Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, I verified with the awesome. Well then over here's my outline. If everyone who was trained under here, if y'all can come over here, I've got a sign sheet for the acknowledgement of the owner's training.